Okay, so let's get right into how to make the skull and crossbones motif. For this, you will need a worsted weight yarn. I am going to use a 4.5mm hook for the entire motif. So let's get right into this. You're going to start off with a chain of 14. With your chain of 14, go ahead and slip stitch into your very first chain made. I always slip stitch into the back bump. There we go. Now go ahead and chain 14 again. And slip stitch into the same stitch you just slip stitched into. Big hint as to what stitch that is in case your work turned this way or whatever. The stitch that your starting knot is coming out of is your starting stitch. There we go. And that is what you should have so far. Okay, so with our eye sockets, because that's what these are, you're going to now chain 1, and you're going to evenly work 18 single crochet into both loops. So that will be 18 here into this first loop, and then another 18 into this second loop or eye socket. Be sure to do this evenly, and I will be back whenever I am done with the first eye socket, and then we will start the second one together. Okay, so I've just worked my first 18, and before I carry on, I should have done this from the beginning, but I'm going to go ahead and do it now. I'm going to count 18 back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. Okay, I'm going to mark my very first stitch, because sometimes your first single crochet can get confused, can look confused with your first chain 1, this being your first chain 1 right here, and you don't want to work into that. When you're done working your next round of 18 single crochet in the second eye socket, you're going to slip stitch into your very first single crochet of your first 18. So here we go, the next eye socket. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I'll be back whenever I have 18. Also, another little helpful tip, whenever we are all done making our motif, you see how I don't have a gap right here? That is because I used this to stitch the two together like this. So whenever we're all done, you can eliminate this elongated loop right here. Oops, sorry. You can eliminate this elongated loop right here with your tail. You can just sew it together. Okay, I'll be back whenever I am ready for the next step. I'm going to slip stitch into that first single crochet. Now, without chaining, let's slip stitch into the next 6 single crochet over for a total of 7 slip stitches. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, now we will chain 1, and starting with the first stitch that we just slip stitched into right here, work 14 single crochet all the way across the top of the eye holes, the sockets. So it's 1, 2, 3, 13, and 14. That's how it should be looking right now. Now, without chaining, turn your work, and the stitch that we currently have our loop coming out of, we're going to skip that first stitch, and in the next stitch over, we're going to single crochet in the next 12 single crochet across, making sure that we skip the last one. Okay, that's 12. Again, without chaining, we turn our work, and we're going to skip the first single crochet that our loop is coming out of, and we work the next 10 single crochet across with a single crochet. Okay, now we're going to turn our work without working a chain again. Skip the first stitch, and then we work the next 8 single crochet across. Okay, now you can chain 1 and cut. We are done with the forehead. Looks a little wonky right now. Look at that. It'll all come together in the end, especially whenever we use this to really close up the eyes. See, it'll really come together in the end. Okay, now turn your skull upside down to where the forehead is towards you, and we're going to start working the bottom half. So what you're going to want to do is locate the center bottom and count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 stitches to the right. Go ahead and slip stitch in that 7th stitch, chain 1, and work 4, starting with your very first stitch that you slip stitched into. Work 4 single crochet across. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now you will chain 4. My dog got a little barky there for a second. Now you will skip the next 6 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and work a single crochet in the 7th one over. And then in the next 3 stitches, work 3 more single crochet. 1, 2, and 3. That's for a total of 4 single crochet. And there you have created the nose. Chain 1, turn, and starting in the very first single crochet, work 4 single crochet over. 2, 3, and 4. Now in the chain, not around the chain, but within each of these 4 chains, work a single crochet, starting with the very first one. Over here it's going to be kind of small. I would work under the 2 top loops, meaning you'll want to work down here in this area, encapsulating these 2 upper loops into your single crochet for a nice clean look. 1, 2, 3, come all the way to the bottom, 4, and then work 1 single crochet in each of the next 4 remaining single crochet. 1, 2, 3, and 4. There you go. Okay, now for our next row, we're going to turn without chaining and skip the first stitch that our loop is coming out of, and in the next 2 stitches over, work a slip stitch. 1 and 2. Now chain 2 for a double crochet, and in the next 7 single crochet, work 1 double crochet for a total of 8 if you count your chain 2. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Now you should have 2 unworked single crochet left on the end. You will chain 1, and starting in your very first double crochet, work 1 single crochet in every double crochet across for a total of 8 single crochet worked. And then you can cut and weave in your ends, and then we will begin working on the bones. And be sure to work in the top of that chain 2. There we go. Chain 1 and cut. Okay, let's start our first crossbone. So we're going to start, you follow the stitches right on the eyebrow bone right here, and right on the corner of the eye is where you're going to put your hook in The crossbones are super easy. Now you'll want to leave a long tail because weaving in the tails is going to help with the stability of the bones. Because as we're making them, you'll see they're going to want to naturally turn like this. But when we weave in our tails, we will reinforce the stiffness in the back, and that will keep everything like as you see. Okay, so leave a fairly long tail. Oops, sorry. Leave a fairly long tail there. Pull through, drop that tail back, and leave it. Don't work it in, just leave it hanging. Chain one, and in that same stitch, go ahead and work 1 single crochet. And in the next available space over, work a single crochet. And in another available space over, work a single crochet. That's 3. That is row 1. Chain 1, turn. Now we work row 2. We're going to work a total of 4 rows of 3 single crochet. Chain 1, turn. This makes 3. Last row, turn, chain 1, turn. This makes 4. Now you will chain 2, turn your work, and in this, excuse me, in this very first stitch right here, work 6 double crochet. Your chain 2 will count as your first double crochet for a total of 7. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now, in the next single crochet over, your middle single crochet, you will work a slip stitch, chain 2. This will count as your first double crochet, and in the very last stitch, work your 6 double crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and in that same stitch that we just worked 6 single crochet or double crochet into, work a slip stitch. Chain 1 and cut, and that is your first of your 4 crossbones. There we go. And you can see the crossbone is unstable, but that's where our weaving in of the ends, you'll weave it in back and forth, and I'll show you how to do that, but it'll really stiffen it up to keep it straight like this. Now, we just follow everything we did the first time around. So come across here. Oops, got caught up there. 1, 2, and 3. So we're going to enter into this stitch up here. I hope that was clear what I showed you there. Let me do that one more time. Follow the brow bone to your first stitch, then count the next available space over to be a stitch, and then count the third one over to be a stitch. The reason we want to do this is because we want our fan stitches up here to all be facing the same direction for uniformity. We don't want one facing this way, but one looks like the back of a double crochet. Do you see what I'm saying? So this will allow for uniformity. So 1, 2, and then 3 is where we will start. Make sure that you leave a sizable tail. Chain 1, work a single crochet, and in the next available stitch over, single crochet, and then in the last, single crochet. Let's make sure that these are going to match. Looks pretty good to me. Okay, chain 1, and we work 3 more rows of single crochet. Sorry, it's my doggy again. Okay, that is 2 rows. 2, 3 rows, and 4 rows. 1, 2, and 3. Now we chain 2 for our first double crochet, turn our work, and work 6 double crochet into that first single crochet. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Again, we're going to slip stitch into this middle single crochet, then chain 2 for a double crochet, and then in the last stitch, get in there. There we go. Into the last stitch, we work 6 double crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Then into that same stitch as all of our 6 double crochet, we work a slip stitch. Chain 1 and cut a fairly lengthy tail. Then I will show you how we locate the bottom 2. Then I'll go ahead and show you the weaving in of the tails and why it's so important. You see how our crossbones naturally want to turn. Even whenever we turn them, they're still just kind of wonky. Okay, how to locate the bottom 2. We're going to be working around this entire corner here. So you will work your slip stitch that's down here, that's facing in this direction. You'll start in there, and that'll make 1. Then like right next to the corner here, we'll make 2, and then 1 more up, we'll make 3. So let's go ahead and do that. Join with a fairly lengthy tail. Work our 3 single crochet, 1, 2, and then coming up the side of the face here, we will find our 3rd stitch right there. And then again, we work our 4 rows of 3 single crochets, sorry. Okay, then we come over here to this side. Here's what we have so far. Now we're going to work on this cheekbone here. Our little problem is that we have a little bit more room on this side than we do on this side. So we look over here and we see we can work right up under that eye and get away with it. It'll look just fine. So that's what we're going to do. Go ahead and start right here under the eye socket. Chain 1 and work our first single crochet. Work in the next stitch over, single crochet, and then come around the corner, and the bottom of our jaw, we're going to work in this first stitch right here. It's going that way. There we go. Chain 1 and turn, and start working our 4 rows of 3 single crochet. This will make row 3 and row 4. Chain 2, and you don't need to see me make the fan stitch again, so Go ahead and finish up your last bone and then come back whenever you're ready for me to show you how to do the weaving in part to help stabilize the bones. Okay, now let's turn this mess into something that we want to look at. Flip it over. Let's start with this first one up here on top. Okay, thread your yarn needle. Now, starting with the very first row that you see right here across the top of the bones, top of the little lumps here, or just under the little lumps, forgive me. That's where you're going to want to put your first one, and don't pull it so tight that it cinches it in, okay? We just want bulkiness back here. Now we come back and we hit up the row just underneath that we just weaved in this upper part. Now we're going to weave in through the row just below it, just like that. And that's it for that one. Now we come down here and we grab the bottom one where we first joined our yarn, and we're going to do basically the same thing. The very first row right here, weave in through there. Now come up to the exact same row we weaved in the last time up here. There we go. And there you go. You can go ahead and cut now. And look what that does. It stabilizes it. Look at this. This one here naturally just curled up. It's what it wants to do. But now this one here is great. You can turn it and do whatever you want with it, and it's going to come right back to flat. And that's what we want. And see what I mean by flat? So that's what we want. Let me show you with this really curlied one here. This one here it just wants to be twisted. So let's work this one. There we go. And that's that. Now it is stabilized. Let's move these out of the way so we can see a little bit better. Look at these guys here just curling. But these are better behaved and ready for sewing in or gluing on, whatever you're going to choose to do with yours. But that is why it is important to leave a nice long tail with these, and why the weaving in process is actually vital to the stability of the crossbones. Whereas normally you can just weave in however you want to, or weave in as you go. Not with this. With this, you genuinely need to incorporate the weaving in as an important process towards stabilizing the crossbones. Okay. So there you go. That is how you make a skull and crossbones applique. And here's the big one. There we go. Nice big one there. I like it. I like it a lot. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.